welcome back to the range. Now we're moving on to the NFL talk. Big Ben, as expected, has been suspended for 6 games.
Bitch.
So Roger Goodell finally cracking down on another star player. I mean,
the hammer.
Yeah, 6 games. This could make or break Pittsburgh's season, and it could also have an impact on their draft status. I mean, because you never know. I mean, there's already speculation about Big Ben, after this suspension is up, he could be traded. So you never know. Yeah, you never know what could be on the minds of the Rooneys up in Pittsburgh. So Big Ben's days as a Steeler could be numbered.
Well,
Not saying it will happen, but they're saying it's a possibility. Big Ben, Roger Goodell wanted to make an example out of Ben Roethlisberger, and I think this is a pretty decent suspension. No more, no less. I mean, 46 games seemed just about right. And coming into that season, I mean, they really do have a pretty tough first 3 games of the season. I mean, I know they're facing the Baltimore Ravens at the 4th game of the season on Monday night, and then you have the Titans. And then you have the Titans in the mix. Yeah. So Pittsburgh's schedule, I mean, there's no slouch at all.
No.
So mainly with Ben being suspended and with them bringing back Brian Leftwich just for another quarterback, how do you think this will have an impact on Steelers' season to start off?
Well, to start off, I think that they're going to have to just go with what they have. You know, Dennis Dixon, he stepped in when Ben got hurt several times and in very key games. Even though he lost, he played very well. And I think Dixon is ready to step into that role and be able just to manage a game, not be able to take over the game, but just be able to manage it and just be able to keep. And you have that running back, you have the running backs, you have the defense. I think that if he can manage it all right, then they should be okay. Looking at it from Ben's perspective, though, I don't really see his days numbered as a Steeler because of what he has done on the field, because that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers organization cares about, is always winning championships. And from the history of Ben Roethlisberger, ever since he got to Pittsburgh, he has been a winner at some points and sometimes others. He has won 2 Super Bowls. I mean, he has the record, and he has the potential. It's just not up in here. So I just don't. If it's good, I mean, who knows? They may hang on to him, and he may learn something from this suspension and try and come back and try and recorrect everything that he's probably messed up on this off season. So.
Well, there's some things that you can fix, and there's some things that you really can't fix. And right now, Ben Roethlisberger's personal issues is kind of holding him back from being that premier star in the league. You talk about, your Peyton Mannings, your Eli Mannings, even your Tony Romos. I mean, even with that is, those players don't have off-the-field issues that kind of keep them from being prominent in the eyes of the public. Really and truly, you got to think. Up in Pittsburgh, those are hardcore fans up there. They travel. Some of them travel with the team, which is pretty awesome, I have to say.
Yeah. And hey, you remember that one game against Denver?
Denver, yeah.
There were
more
more Steeler fans than Denver fans.
Well, that's rightfully so. That should always happen. But
it's a long drive.
Still, I'd support the Steelers over the Broncos any day.
Oh yeah.
But the problem is, I mean, with that being said, Ben Roethlisberger, his thought process isn't working right now. He has all these off the field issues, and not just issues kind of like, I got in a motorcycle accident. Well, we were all like, okay, cool. You got a motorcycle accident. We let that slide. Well, the past 3 years, you've been getting all these sex scandals, which, we know you haven't been charged or anything, but, dude, at some point, they got you.
Yeah.
And so you got to watch what you do on the field and off the field. And last year, you had that big distraction. You didn't make the playoffs. I think that's going to happen again this year. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to go ahead and groom. Not just groom, but put in Dennis Dixon to start the season. Let's see how he does for 6 ball games. And if he can do that, I really would like to see that, because remember, he had one good start. He has one career start, and he played damn good in that one game except for one pass.
Yeah, against Baltimore. And that was a good game too.
Yeah, and Baltimore at the top of their defense. That was their best defensive game all season.
Yes.
I mean, so he added another threat. I mean, Ben's he's not a pocket passer. He can run himself, but Dennis Dixon, he added a lot more
speed to it.
A lot more wiggle to his legs, and I mean, he did figure out that defense for a good touchdown.
3.5 quarters.
And remember the expectations that they have given it to Dennis Dixon going into that game. They thought he was going to just fall over.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, we're just going to go out here and play this Monday night games or whatever."
Yeah,
and suddenly, man, they're in the ball game in the fourth quarter. You just gotta, and I think that's why you draft people. And when you're talking about the NFL draft and stuff, what will they do? I think he will get traded because the Roonies are sending out a message, especially with Santonio Holmes.
Yeah.
With them sending him
Super Bowl
out.
MVP.
Yeah, Super Bowl MVP 2 years ago. That normally doesn't happen. So you're talking about a team, guy who goes, okay, I just won a Super Bowl MVP 2 years ago. I had a decent season last year, not a great one, but a decent one where I was still, one of the best wide receivers in the game. But suddenly I'm getting traded away because of my off the field issues. So I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, with this happening, the Roonies have to say something. They're a very classy group of guys. I love the Rooney family. They've done a lot of great things for the NFL, especially for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But really and truly, if you want to send a message, I mean, Roger Goodell sent a message saying no player is bigger than the other. The Roonies have to do the same thing. If you send away Santonio, you might as well send away Ben Roethlisberger to send a message to the whole team.
So would you consider this his third strike? Remember, this is his third distraction off the field. Remember the motorcycle, and then
The first sex scandal. The first sex scandal.
The first scandal. No, I'm talking about like before that. After he won his first Super Bowl, he had that motorcycle incident, and then they missed the playoffs. And then last year with the first scandal, and then another one. Yeah. So would you consider the Roonies playing the three strike rule with Ben, or do you think they want to take that into consideration?
I think they may take it into consideration, but if it depends on Dixon's production. I think if he has a stellar job leading the Steelers above 500 season for the first 6 games, then they'll just go ahead and get rid of him.
Yeah, I think they kind of brought back Leftwich for an emergency quarterback, and they already have Charlie Batch. You never know how they're going to use him, or he might start the season, and then they just put in Dixon, whoever.
Yeah.
But as far as a draft, let's just pretend for a second that Pittsburgh does go another way with Ben Roethlisberger and decide to almost get rid of him. What do you think they would do in the draft coming up?
I think first and foremost, you can tell what they're going to do by probably their first pick of the draft. Yeah. When they had their first pick, I forgot where they're picking. I think
number 18.
Number 18. 18. Okay. Yeah, so 18. I think if they select a quarterback right there, then that pretty much guarantees that Ben Roethlisberger's out.
Yeah.
I mean, or even if they got a quarterback, not even a quarterback, if they got even like running back or wide receiver, I think you're kind of already going, okay, in the back of your mind, is it a wide receiver that one of the top 10 picks want? Like let's say Pittsburgh picks up Dez Bryant.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Let's just say the Bills want Dez Bryant at 10. Why not? Why not? I mean, at 9. Excuse me, Jaguars have done 10. Mm-hmm. But the Bills take them at take somebody at number 9 and like, oh, you got a quarterback, you got Jimmy Clausen. Why don't you just send us Jimmy Clausen and we'll send you, Dez Bryant.
Kind of like the Philadelphia.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah, like the Eli thing. I mean, it goes back to 2004. I mean, really and truly, I think you can. But I mean, that was a whole different situation.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Archie,
one of the best drafts anyway.
Yeah, one of the best ones. But I mean, at the same time, you got to remember, Roethlisberger has played for that team so long, and he has such an outstanding kind of a personality for that group. He has done great things, but he really has to get it together. The fact that he just can't go out there and just go, okay, I'm messing up again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the 6-game suspension will help Ben Roethlisberger's psyche and his personal problems, but I think at the same time, it's already been a problem. Who's to not say he can go back out and do something else?
You never know. I mean, like once again, like this 6-game, 4 to 6 games. I mean, it can be reduced to 4 games. So you never know exactly how they're gonna take it that way. Mm-hmm. You never know how his production is gonna be once he gets back on the field. Coming up, Cleveland will be discussing one of his topics next up on the range.
Oh shit.